Pep Guardiola.
Well, some great scenes of celebration at the end there, but how hard did your team have to work for that tonight, Pep?
Every game is hard. We know it at the end. So the game was, the day was so cold, wind, and all the environment was a little bit like that. So we didn't play bad, but they have incredible got structure, and we had the chances, not a lot, but the second half was much better. We helped us, of course, score in the beginning. But we could see just one shooter in the first half, one in the second, and the main chances we had. And yeah, really pleased. 5 games left. So one of the games we had in hand, we used it well, and recover quick. And Saturday at 3 p.m. against Sam Allardyce.
Yes, so on that subject, in that first 45, was it obvious to you how to break that structure that West Ham had?
Well, it's difficult. It's patient. It's have the ability, the 1-against-1 in left side. We do have one more man there. We attack more fluently than the right. In the second half, John helped us a lot to attack a little bit better in the right side. And but everyone was taking contribution. We lost a lot of balls. We were a little bit anxious in the first half in the falls. So the defender had to defend without being anxious, and we were a little bit making stupid falls. That is a reality. But in general, with this amount of games and games and games, so sometimes you drop a little bit. And we drop a little, but not much to suffer the results at the end, the chances that we had. So it was much, much more than them. And at the end, 3 more points. And, keep going.
Yep, 3 points, 3 great second half goals. I imagine it will be the second one that does get the headlines. Just how deserving is Erling Haaland of that Premier League record he's now broken?
Well, so, yeah, and it's unbelievable. So how many goals has he already scored, and important is scored to help us to win games, and all the team is satisfied for that because he's a unique person. So player, of course, but the person is also so special, and it was nice he deserves the Guard of Honor we have done to him, and because it's an incredible milestone. So, and one day maybe him will break his record, or another one he'll be break this record, but he has to score a lot of goals.
You may have seen before the Guard of Honor on the big screen, 1,000 goals under Pep Guardiola.
Not bad at
Something
all.
you can be proud of, eh?
Yeah, of course, many goals. The goal at the end is the moment of the pleasure for our fans and ourselves. So 1,000 times we enjoy it. So yeah, it's not bad. A lot of goals. So yeah, very pleased for all the players and how they follow us this time and these 7 years. So yeah, keep going, keep moving forward.
Yeah, 1,000 goals under Pep Guardiola. 47 in the last 13 home games at the Etihad Stadium. I mean, they're a brilliant team to watch as well, aren't they?
They are. They play the game like we all love watching them, don't we? Take rivalries and take, whoever you support aside, they're just a fantastic team to watch. The respect that other teams have got for them is huge. You see virtually every team go to the Etihad and just shut up shop. Let's just try to defend. If you come out against them, they'll beat you 8 and 9. West Ham have to play like that today to only get beaten 3. And that's their level of dominance at the moment. So yeah, they know what they're doing. They've got great players. They've got an unbelievable manager conducting the orchestra there. And then you've got individual talent, individual match winners like Haaland and Grealish and Mahrez and all these players. And if one's having a quiet day, somebody else pops up, and that's just the level of them. So onwards and upwards, they're in great form, and there's lots to play for the rest of the season.
And even when they're frustrated in the 45 minutes, he's just said then, they got a little bit anxious in that first half. We said at half-time, we think they'll break them down. They got the goal inside 5 minutes of the second half, and everyone settled down around the stadium.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. But the goal came from source we didn't expect because of the way, I think, in a way, West Ham was defending how many people they had in the box. So for it to come from a set piece was a bit strange. But when they need to go in, that's what they need to do. And if you see here, there's an overload at the back, and well, a great header from Ake, but the ball from Mahrez was superb. You couldn't have asked for any more for as a defender.
No, it's strange, isn't it? Look, you've got 4 against 1 at the front there, Haaland, and then 4 against 1 at the back. You'd think West Ham, I know they're in zones, but you'd think they'd all shuffle along a bit. Ake gives his man Ogbonna a little push just to get about a metre away from him, but there's just a queuing up behind, and once Ogbonna misjudges the flight of the ball, then Ake sweeps and it's 1-0, and you can see there's a bit of an inquest, and it's probably the last thing that David Moyes wanted to do was, OK, if they piece you open with some great play, but a set piece, he must be thinking all this hard work, and then we switched off just for a set piece, and that basically made West Ham crack. Then after that, it was just how many it was going to be.
Yep, Nathan Ake's first league goal in over a year. It was an important one, as we mentioned, to break the deadlock, and here is the Dutchman.
Fans delighted with your goal, but delighted to see you full stop, perhaps back a little bit earlier today than expected?
Yeah, no, luckily in the end it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I trained a couple of times, and yeah, luckily everything went well, and I stayed fit, and yeah, now hopefully I can just kick on again.
Yeah, what was it like then, coming straight back into another high-pressure game, really, against a side that made it so difficult for you to get past them, especially in that first half?
Yeah, no, it's good. You know, every game from now on is going to be tough like this. Everyone is fighting for something. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. But yeah, we just had to dig in, keep playing our game. Maybe it wasn't the best game we've played, but yeah, it's all about the 3 points at the moment. And yeah, in the end we stayed strong, and yeah, we managed to win.
Yeah, it's just all about picking those moments. You did it perfectly, didn't you, with the first goal?
Yeah, it was a perfect ball from Riyad, and yeah, luckily I was there to head it in. I had one in the first half where I missed it, so this one I think it was good to head in.
On the subject of perfection, Erling Haaland with the second, some special scenes out there at the end.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know. Yeah, the way he came in and he does what he does every day, and today again scoring the goal, he's always there. And to be honest, he deserves everything he gets. He works so hard. He's a top player. I don't have to tell you that. But now the way he works, the way he is for the team, how humble he stays after all the praise and everything, I think is a great addition. And yeah, hopefully he can score even more.
Crazy, the latest adjective added to the list of Erling Haaland. But in all seriousness about Nathan Ake, in terms of Pep improving players, a lot of City fans delighted to see him back tonight. That says everything.
Yeah, I think for me personally, just watching him over the season, I think he's probably the first defender's name on the team sheet for me to, especially obviously in the left back area more so. But you've seen him play everywhere apart from the right back position, because that's how good he's been. One-on-one positions. I think Saka's come up against him a number of times. He's kept him quiet both times, especially at the Etihad. And he just knows how to control the situation. And he's been popping up with the odd goals at times as well, whether it be in the cup games or Europe or obviously the Premier League like tonight. But he's improved so much. I always liked him when he was at Bournemouth, and I think that was his biggest test, to be honest with you, because they had to do a serious amount of defending. And of course he would make a few mistakes, but he never looked really out of his depth in that respect. It's just one of those things that when it's an onslaught of attack, at some point they're going to get past you. But I think he's been a fantastic player, and I think he's just got better as well.
Yeah, and a few people have pointed to the slight difference in City and Arsenal in the strength of depth and who City can bring on as opposed to Arsenal. And tonight we saw Phil Foden, who's had his issues since the World Cup, come on and score and get into double figures in the Premier League for the first time in his career. Is that the difference, that this is the type of calibre of player that's coming off the bench?
Well, they certainly have some talented players, Phil Foden being one of them. I mean, he must have been very frustrated over the last few weeks, months, because he's not played as much as he'd like to. But to hit double figures in a season, when you've not been a regular starter, then it's obviously a very good return. We see him there on the edge of the box, not really getting picked up. He strikes it so nice. I mean, obviously it takes a big deflection, but that's going on target. And it's not an easy ball to hit, that one. So he's an unbelievable player. I find Pep Guardiola fascinating, actually, because as much as I've lauded him most of tonight, he also does a few quirky things. I mean, he bought Nathan Ake for an absolute fortune, and then he hardly plays him for years and years, and then brings him back and he's brilliant. It's like everyone says, oh, Pep Guardiola's amazing. Well, why wasn't he amazing for the first couple of years? John Stones is another one. Just left him out the team for like a year or two. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he's absolutely brilliant. Phil Foden's going through the patch now whereby he's just leaving him out all the time and everyone knows he's brilliant. And then all of a sudden he'll come back and he'll be like, oh, Phil Foden. And everyone says, oh, he manages players so well. So maybe that's the case, but he also just like literally bombs them off for a few months or even a season and things. Fair play to him, though. He gets them back and they come back, you know, in real good form. And that might be a huge skill of his.
I have to agree with him. It goes back to, like I said...
Does it with loads of players, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it goes back to, like I said, you know as a player, if you're not playing and you get that one game, especially for me, I was all rusty. My dribbling wasn't there. You had to remember the pitch size and how things worked. Whereas I feel like whenever, whether it's a sub or whether somebody's been not playing for a month, when they come into that team, they seem match fit and they just don't seem like they've got any rust on them whatsoever. And when we was in on the weekend, that's the first thing I asked Rafa. I said to Rafa, like, why does it work with him like that? And Rafa said to me, he knows he's coached very well. That helps him keep them fit. And he said they work on that a lot because they need everybody to basically come into the game exactly at the same level as everybody else. Now, I wasn't lucky enough to have
It sounds simple, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not
sounds
that
simple.
simple.
It's amazing because I just pick you up on a couple of Sean's words there when you say you come on and you forget, you almost forget the dimensions of the pitch and your bearing. I think it's you lose your bearings a little bit. When you haven't played for a long time, it sounds really strange, doesn't it? But you do. And if you come on as a sub, it takes you about 2 or 3 minutes to just, to get your bearings. the pitch, the size never changed, the ball never, but it's a strange thing. If you're not playing, which is why it is so amazing that these players can literally be out the game for a season or something, just get the odd appearance in a Carabao Cup or something. All of a sudden they come back and like they're the best defender in the Premier League and they're winning the Champions League. And I mean, John Stones, Nathan Ake, great examples, but there's lots of others.
Yeah. In terms of the top of the table, they've done their bit again. As I say, they're back on top. They've got the game in hand. They've got the advantage. They've got the goal difference. They've got the bit between their teeth. And they've got the momentum. They've won 9 in a row.
They have to carry that momentum on. I think, obviously, they got to play Leeds with Sam Allardyce.
He mentioned it.
That was a pointed reference, I think, from Pep Guardiola, wasn't it, after the clip we played earlier on?
Yeah, it seemed like it, but I was expecting for him to get something back so he could go again, but obviously they didn't see the opening there. But in general, they got to go into that game and they got to win it. Like you said, they have momentum, but like today, I wouldn't say they started slow, but West Ham made it very difficult for them in the first half. Leeds are going to do a similar thing, but I just think Leeds have a bit more on the counter-attack in transition than I would say West Ham. Leeds have 3 or 4 players that break really quickly if they're given a chance to. So I think it may be a similar challenge, but slight different on the defensive side of things. So I think we're going to win, but I think it would be more difficult than I think.